Dawn in this Borneo rainforest marks the start of jungle daycare. A team of babysitters carry young orangutans out to their playground, a 62-hectare protected reserve.
They love water.
They'll spend the day learning the basic skills to one day survive in the wild.
If they come in at the age of about 1, it will take about 7 years.
So it's almost like preparing children for the outside world.
More or less, it just goes a little bit faster. I mean, they graduate a little bit faster than what children do, and they're not quite as expensive too.
Lone Droescher-Nielsen is a former flight attendant from Denmark who came here 13 years ago to see the jungle and fell in love with its animals. She now runs a rescue and rehabilitation centre for orangutans that have fallen prey to the dangers of man.
It's a totally different way of living than it would be if they were with the mothers. But we tried the best that we can to give them lots of love and attention. There's lots of bickering going on, a lot of jealousy between them, but they still seem to cope quite well with because they get love from the others as well. They have the social structure that they get in within the group.
They have to nurture them by hand, feeding them healthy food, making sure they have fresh milk, and dealing with the trying demands of a temperamental beast.
She's just getting really upset because her milk is not ready yet. So it's just like children in a supermarket when they can't have the chocolate, on the shelf.
Having its handy.
Tantrum. Oh, yeah, now you got it. No, you don't have to cry anymore. Yeah.
All too often they have to deal with problems that no infant should go through.
This is Cassie. She had her hand cut off while they were killing her mother. They simply cut her mother to death with machetes. She's doing perfectly fine, actually. She's taken a little bit longer than some of the others to climb bigger trees, but she can even climb, not quite as big as this one, but she's starting to climb up trees because she just uses the stump to hold on. But because she's got 3 other limbs, obviously it's a little bit easier than we would be a bit more handicapped.
Every day the province of central Kalimantan reverberates to the sound of bulldozed jungle. The vast forests of Borneo are the centre of a frenzied clearing program for palm plantations. It's cheap to plant, quick to grow, and the wine-red fruit yields what many tout as green renewable oil, useful for everything from cooking oil to truck fuel. Much of it ends up in supermarkets as a cheap food additive, in hundreds of products from bread and biscuits to crisps and oatcakes. It's sometimes labelled palm oil, often just vegetable oil, with no warnings as to whether it's being grown sustainably on abandoned farmland or from bulldozed forest. Few outside Borneo realise just how much damage has been done to the wildlife. Sinar Singam is a 73-year-old Dayak leader who grew up in the forests. He now fears the orangutans will disappear entirely.
Hari zaman dihilin dulu itu kan dia tuh bebas aja hidup di hutan tuh, di padang kayu. Dia bikin rumahnya di atas kayu itu semua bisa kan. Tapi sekarang karena hutan gundul, jadi tempat berdiri rumahnya mereka di sana tuh di hutan tuh tidak ada ya. Hendak hete-hete sawit harus.
Borneo's forests have long been logged for timber, but the advent of palm oil has changed everything. Orangutans, gibbons, macaques and bears could survive in the secondary forest left after the best wood was removed. But the practice of clearing everything has left animals without any of their customary habitat.
Palm oil is totally destructive. They're cutting down primary forest, totally bulldozing every single tree down, and they're taking the top layer of the soil off too. Meaning that there's nothing left. The seeds that might be there are gone.
Environmental groups claim some 5 million hectares of the orangutan's habitat have been destroyed for palm plantations. When the forest disappears, instinct leads the apes back to what used to be their homes. They cling to any stump in the cleared plantations, unable to understand where their food has gone. It's left to privately funded NGOs to rescue them before plantation workers kill them or sell the babies as pets. Lone Droescher-Nielsen's group is BOSS, the Borneo Orang-utan Survival Foundation. Surviving precariously on donations, it sends teams to drug and capture lost orangutans and eventually release them back into the wild.
Mama Mosi! We now work with almost all plantations in central Kalimantan. Some are more willing to call us because it doesn't cost them anything. And for them, I guess they think it's a better image that they're at least trying to help the orangutans.
This plantation, a 2-hour drive from the reserve, sees itself as a model operation. The manager, Johannes Budi Santoso, says it only grows palms on land that was already cleared.
Pada daerah pinggiran dekat hutan itu ada 1-2 orang hutan ya. Tapi kita karena ada yayasan BOSS di Tengkiling yang sudah ada kerjasama dengan kita setiap kita mengetahui ada gejala atau serangan itu kita langsung lapor calling mereka.
But even here, their workers have been known to panic and kill the apes.
From that particular plantation, we have had 3 orangutans that tried to catch themselves that had died simply because they're using, either machetes, and it almost cut the hands off a female orangutan, and she bled to death before we got there.
BOSS has compiled a horrific and ever-growing catalogue of the casualties of palm oil plantations.
We estimate about 5,000 orangutans are killed at least every year. Another 5 or 6 years, if we don't watch out, if we don't do something now, the orangutan will be gone in the wild. So this is not a natural disaster, this is a human-caused disaster. And it's right now, it's like an emergency we have here now. It's really, really bad. As I say, thousands of orangutans are being killed. It's really, really, it's the saddest thing that you can imagine.
The man who signs the palm oil concessions is the provincial governor, Augustin Teras Nerang. He denies licenses are granted for virgin forest, insisting only land that's already been cleared is available for plantations.
Tetapi yang terjadi bukan penebangan yang dilakukan oleh pemegang yang memperoleh izin, tetapi dilakukan oleh orang yang tidak mempunyai izin. Nah, itulah yang namanya illegal logging. Nah, permasalahannya menurut hemat saya adalah dunia internasional itu kalau dia tidak menerima, itu tidak akan mendorong para pelaku illegal logging. Yang sangat saya sayangkan adalah dunia internasional masih membuka pintu untuk menerima kayu-kayu yang ilegal ini.
But Boss insists most concessions are given for primary forests, simply because companies pay more to get the timber as well.
The district chiefs can give out concessions up to about 5,000 hectares on their own. And if the palm oil plantations give enough money under the table, the district chiefs doesn't really matter very much whether that land has got forest on it or not.
Didorong oleh kebutuhan ekonomi dan ketamakan.
The lure of money has destroyed much of the traditional regard local people held for the jungle. Boss tries to counter it by teaching students of the dangers of uncontrolled development. Siti Nurayati is one of 146 local staff working at the Boss Center.
Tapi sejak ada Bos Nyaru Menteng, sebagian banyak orang, terutama di Palangkaraya, itu sudah mengetahui banyak tentang bagaimana kita harus lindungi orang-utan dan bagaimana untuk hutan dan habitatnya untuk yang akan datang.
But this amateur video of an orangutan named Pony shows how appalling, even sickening, the treatment can still be.
Here in central Kalimantan, lots of small villages have only prostitution and karaoke joints. And she was kept there in a room, tied around her ankle up against the wall, lying stomach down on a mattress, available for customers in the evening. We tried for over a year to take her, and every single time we approached the people, we were threatened with both with guns and also with machetes with poison on them. We continued to bring in more and more police officers, and in the end, when we finally got her, we had 36 military police officers with machine guns with us in order to get her.
Today, Pony remains shy and wary. She's been successfully released into a forest near the reserve where nobody can hurt her again. The scale of the problem has begun to overwhelm groups like Boss. This centre was built to keep a maximum of 100 apes. There are now 440. The centre now has to keep adult orangutans far longer than expected. So much so that many begin to mistake their carer for their mate.
Yeah.
So he thinks you're his girlfriend?
Yeah. He gets very excited around me. Can you see what he's got goosebumps on his face? That means he's really go away from here.
Right, so he's jealous of us being here.
Yes, he doesn't like men. He's very jealous of men.
I won't get too close.
Can I buy? Jang. A belly button saya apa deh? He's like this, totally focused on belly buttons and clothes. But he's looking at my belly button, really focused on it right now. So it's like, no, you don't need to open my bra too. That's not nice. We've got guys around here.
The indignity of being manhandled by orangutans has become just another part of her daily routine.
Jang. You get all wet out there today.
Working on minimal Indonesian wages, Lone Droescher-Nielsen has devoted her life to trying to save her ever-growing brood.
What are you doing, look? I mean, look at these guys. I mean, how can... Lots of people say, nah, rehabilitation is not worth it. But what do people expect? Do we just kill these little orphans? You know, we do just euthanize them because it's not worth that. I mean, you look into their eyes and you just have to give them another chance because all their pain is caused by us.
Lone's most ambitious and controversial project is to rehabilitate the orphans back into the wild.
We're going out to one of our release islands where the orangutans are living more or less freely, but still with help with food and stuff, because the islands are not big enough to support as many orangutans that are here.
Many scientists are skeptical that orphans raised in captivity can be successfully released. She's determined to prove them wrong. The technicians call out to let them know there's food.
We have noticed it's the females are the most clever ones.
Really?
Oddly enough, yeah.
Within minutes, a trickle of near wild apes appears.
This is Gaddy's coming in here. She's still a young female, she's only about 8 years old.
The island colony now has 43 apes adapting to independent living. 6 of them were born here.
This is Lona with her baby, who's called Nielsen, by the way. They come out here at least, every week, and I'm still amazed.
Yeah.
Especially because we've had them since they were tiny babies.
Yeah.
And now seeing them being able to take care of themselves.
And their instincts come back?
Very much so, yes.
Yeah.
But you see the wild behavior, breaking branches and throwing branches and squeaking. Mm-hmm. In captivity, you find lots of babies are not taken care of very well by the mothers.
Yeah.
They throw them out, or they just don't really seem to know what to do with them.
It will be years before most of these young ones can be released. Hundreds more orphans may be brought here before they are.
But they love to be tickled.
Centres like this give hope that Asia's last orangutans will endure in the wild. But that will ultimately rest on the world rejecting ape blood for palm oil.